What's up guys, welcome back to Money Crow, the channel all about making your money grow. In this video, I'm going to explain why an HSA, otherwise known as a health savings account, is one of the best accounts to contribute to and invest in. If you're relatively young or for the most part pretty healthy and you don't anticipate to spend much on health related expenses right now, an HSA is perfect for you. It's one of the most tax-friendly ways to build your wealth because it's triple tax advantage. This means that any money you put into your account is tax deductible, any money that grows in the account is not taxed, and any money that you take out of the account for medical expenses is not taxed either. Its primary purpose is of course to provide an account where you can draw from for medical expenses. But again, if you're young and relatively healthy and you're diligent about maxing out this account, you can potentially create a substantial balance for yourself in tax-free wealth for retirement. In addition, it's not uncommon to have your employer assist you in contributing to this account, which is an enormous bonus. It's free money being contributed by your employer that isn't even getting taxed, so absolutely take advantage of that fact if you feel an HSA is right for you. Before we continue, I just want to give a quick shout out to my amazing Patreon supporters. We have our standalone Crow CEO, Jorge Ledesma, and our 4 Crow investors, Prismatic, Erica, Andrew Paz, and John Harden. Thank you all so much for your continued support. If you guys want to be notified immediately after I make a trade in my $100,000 portfolio, consider supporting the channel on Patreon. I'll have all that information listed on there. Link is down below. Another easy way to help out the channel is by clicking my 3 different referral links so we can both get free stocks and free cash. For a limited time, Webull is giving away 3 free stocks, M1 Finance is giving away $10 in cash, and Robinhood is giving away a free stock like Apple or Facebook or many others when you sign up. Links are all in the description. Thank you guys. According to the CNBC article, HSAs were barely created in 2003, so millennials are the first generation with the most to gain from this account. The absolute best way to do this is to contribute as much as you possibly can to the account and don't use it for medical expenses right now. Instead, invest the money inside of the HSA and just let it grow. An amazing feature of the HSA is that so long as you keep the proper records of all your medical expenses throughout your life, you can withdraw any amount up to the total amount of qualified health-related expenses whenever you want. This pretty much means that you can front the cash yourself for your medical expenses, keep your receipts, and instead of inefficiently withdrawing from one of your most tax-friendly accounts, just let that account keep growing and pretend it doesn't even exist. In the far, far future, you can pile up all those receipts and take money out of the account tax-free after it was given more than enough time to appreciate significantly. HSAs are very flexible and don't have a time limit for reimbursement. This article recommends to track your expenses on a spreadsheet, scan your receipts into a file, and download your explanations of benefits from your insurer in order to take tax-free reimbursements in the future. I'm of the mindset that 99% of people will have substantial medical expenses throughout their lives, and especially as they get older. Even if that's not the case for you and you're relatively lucky with low medical expenses, this account still makes sense for everyone in my opinion. If you max out this account every year, which by the way for 2020 the max you can contribute to an HSA is $3,550 per individual or $7,100 per family, that money isn't going to waste. If you're lucky enough to not have to pay much in medical expenses, you're still able to withdraw that money in your old age. When you turn 65, you can withdraw penalty-free from your HSA for absolutely any reason. There is one caveat though, you're taxed on the withdrawal. However, it still presents an alternative for those that may not have high medical expenses. And if you were to instead just invest that money in a regular brokerage account, you'd be paying taxes anyway. At least with the HSA, you get to deduct upfront, grow tax-free, and potentially withdraw tax-free. If you're on the FIRE journey to retire early, this account is even more ideal for you because there's no age limit for being able to access the funds tax-free for medical expenses. According to the website HSA Bank, this is a list of some common IRS qualified medical expenses. It covers so many everyday items like birth control, contact lenses, dental treatments, doctor visits and copays, drug prescriptions, eyeglasses, flu shots, lab fees, laser eye surgery, over-the-counter medicines, surgery, vaccines, vision exams, etc. The list is already pretty comprehensive and it's not exhaustive. These are just the common expenses. And just look at the list of qualified over-the-counter medicines. It includes things like allergy pills, cold and flu medicine, eye drops, ointments for cuts, pain relievers, etc. So it's definitely pretty lenient in what you can spend your HSA funds on. And with a letter of medical necessity, you could even cover weight loss programs and massages, among other things. Here are some eligible dependent care expenses like babysitting, after-school programs, elderly care expenses, and summer camp. And just for reference, here's a list of ineligible expenses. Most of these make sense to not be included as qualified expenses, and I feel like the list of qualified expenses is already pretty generous. So who can open an HSA? You may open an HSA if you have what's known as an HDHP, or High Deductible Health Plan, which is considered to be a plan with a minimum deductible of $1,400 for an individual and $2,800 for a family. Many employers offer this type of plan, but you may be able to obtain it yourself if you have private insurance. In terms of what you can actually invest in the account, that's determined by your HSA provider. If you have the choice, go with a provider that charges no fees or very minimal fees and has a broad range of low-cost investment options. While doing some research on HSA providers, I came across Optum Bank. I'm not sponsored by them, unfortunately. I'm not providing a link or anything, and I don't even know who qualifies to open an account through them, but I really like their offerings. They allow you to invest anything over $2,000 into their selection of mutual funds. That means as soon as your account has accumulated a cash balance of $2,000, anything over that can be invested in mutual funds. And you can even automate the process by creating automatic transfers to your mutual funds for any amount over $2,000 in your account. In terms of fees, it looks like they charge a $2.75 fee for maintenance on a monthly basis, which can be avoided by keeping at least $3,000 in cash in the account. There's also a $2.50 ATM withdrawal fee, which is not that bad, but you shouldn't be withdrawing from this account anyway. The $20 outbound transfer fee is for transferring your account to another HSA provider, which you probably won't be doing anyway, but if you absolutely have to or want to, you may be able to get your new provider to cover that fee for you. As far as investment options, Optum Bank is top-notch. They have a nice selection of funds, many of them being low-cost Vanguard funds, which I really like. These are some examples. I would personally probably go with something like VITSX or VFIAX in order to just keep it really simple and get the returns of the overall US broad market. Based on the information on this table, either of those funds would have returned over 13% annually over the last 10 years. And unlike trying to buy these mutual funds through a brokerage, there's no minimum initial investment amount required by mutual funds through Optum Bank. I want to talk about the potential growth you can have in an account like this. Let's say you open your first HSA at age 30 and you max it each and every year. You're lucky enough to get a 10% annual rate of return, which has been the average for the US broad market, and you're able to pay upfront for your medical expenses throughout your life, so you're able to leave the full balance growing until, let's say, age 70. At age 70, 40 years later, you'll have 3.7 million socked away in this account, ready for anything that life throws at you, without derailing your retirement plans. If you're thinking to yourself that's way too much for just medical expenses, remember that at age 65, you can withdraw for any reason at all. All you have to do is pay income tax, just like any other regular taxable investment account. And if you name your spouse as the beneficiary of the account, he or she can inherit the account when you pass away and still be eligible to withdraw from it tax-free for medical expenses. One negative aspect of the account is that if you name a beneficiary other than your spouse, this account becomes a taxable account in the name of that beneficiary, and the full value becomes taxable on the year of your death. I'm a big fan of the stepped up cost basis in most other account types, so that's a big negative for me. However, if your beneficiary is a charity, the account will be paid to the charity free of tax. So like I said, unfortunately it's not very friendly upon death, unlike those other accounts that I mentioned that offer a stepped up cost basis, like 401ks, Roth IRAs, regular taxable accounts, but it's still very friendly for you throughout your entire life friendly if your spouse inherits it, and friendly if you decide to leave your remaining funds to a charity upon passing. I hope you learned something new about HSAs, and I hope you consider opening one if it seems like a good fit for you. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. I hope you'll be back for future videos, and as always, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and comment. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.